Hello and welcome to the Limbury Theatre here at the Royal Opera House. My name is Antonio Pappano and I'm here to welcome you to a new initiative, a series of masterclasses with the young artists of the Jette Parker program here at the Royal Opera House. Today I have with me Germán Alcántara and pianist David Gowland, who is the head of the Jette Parker program. And we're going to perform some Donizetti, yes? This is from an opera that's not so well known, La Favorita. Originally written in French, La Favorite. The Italian version, which of course had to happen for Italy, is slightly different from the original version, but that doesn't matter for today's purposes. Germán will perform the role of Alfonso. Alfonso is the King of Spain, and he is married to the daughter of the Portuguese king, but nevertheless, his mistress is Leonora. And he loves her deeply, though he doesn't know that she is in love with Fernando. This is opera, ladies and gentlemen, so these complications happen very, very often. But here, this is an aria that in the traditional bel canto style starts with a cavatina, with a slower and more lyrical portion. Vien, Leonora, a piedi tuoi certo e soglio il cor ti dona. He says, come to me, Leonora, at your feet I will lay the crown, the throne, and my heart. It's a very, very heartfelt, even though he is a philanderer, it's extremely heartfelt aria. He then moves into the second part, which is in a contrasting tempo, the caballetta. Caballetta meaning da-dum, dum, da-dum, da-dum, that kind of rhythm that contrasts beautifully with the arching phrases of the first part. I will win over any enemy that I have and that you have, okay? Basically, that's the story. Okay? So please, it starts with a recitativo, which is a declaimed portion where he's very, very angry. And what are you angry about, Germán?
Well, because I know that the King of Portugal is coming, and he knows that something is not really, fine there in the kingdom of Alfonso. So that's why I know that they want to take away also Leonora of me, so I want her to be with me.
Please.
Ma te malvagi invane sul capo mio sventura impreca in vita l'appia di tutti l'inique trame io sereno per te mia vita affronterei l'averno. non si pentirà che per soglio e per corona che per soglio e per corona gli rima alla tua beltà. Asse amare il re tu puoi, asse amare il re tu puoi, mai del don si pentiranno, mai del don, no, mai del don si pentirà. Se per soglie e per corona gli rimane la tua beltà, gli rimane la tua beltà. Mia Leonora, de vieni a me. De nemici tuoi lo sdegno di sfidare saprò, per te, se ti cessi l'alma il regno, io per gli altri ancor son re. De miei di compagna io voglio farti a bella innanzi alle cele, al mio fianco unita in soglia, al mio fianco nella pelle. Si mio ben, de miei di compagna voglio farti a bella innanzi alle cele, de miei di compagna voglio farti a bella innanzi alle cele, farti bella innanzi alle cele, innanzi alle cele. Oh mia compagna voglio farti innanzi alle cele.
That last high note is not written. Listen, you have such a gorgeous legato. I've talked about legato a lot, and it is the joining of one note to another, creating a long, long phrase, which gives to the listener the idea of a seamless continuity. And this is it's very, very difficult to do, and you have to have the ear for it. And you have the ear for it. Terrific, very impressive. I want to do the recit one more time, the first part, the declamatory part, because I think whereas you start really, really well, and I can feel this inner turmoil and this agitation, in any accompanied recitativo, in other words, where the orchestra is accompanying you and not a harpsichord or a piano, you have to know when the moments are where you're prodding the orchestra, where you're activating the orchestra. And one of them is, of course, when you say the word rabbia, rage. And the phrase, admittedly, comes down, Sventure miam preco invida rabbia. but in vida rabbia, and an appoggiatura, or an emphasis using the above note, in this case would help you. And this would spark off a much more convincing reaction, I think, from the orchestra, just speaking as a conductor. Similarly, when you say, per te mia vita, you say to Leonora, I would face for you, I'd give up my life, I'd face the abyss. You go, per te mia vita, and you get this, ba-ba! And I'm not sure that that is the right provocation for the orchestra. Yeah. I think that if you leave it a little bit later, affrontar, and I would use the original music, l'Averno, because you're talking about the depths, the abyss, the hell. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not, which you did a variation, which is, I'm not saying it's not permitted in this music, and it probably maybe even fits your voice better, that it's slightly higher rather than lower. But with that text, I think you need something that goes into the basement a little bit. Anyway, do the rest of it again.
Te malvagin van sul capo mio
That's another, I wanted to tell you, take 2 breaths. You go, zadam, da, 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 dam, da, you do it twice. I'm not sure, once you've done it once and you do it a second time, you've given your game away. Yeah. Maybe not take the breath the first time. You know what I mean? Try that, right from the third bar, David, is enough.
Ma te malvagin van sul capo mio sventura impreca in vida rabbia.
There you go.
E tutti l'inique trame io serno per te.
And io scerno, I discard all of you. You treat them with contempt. You know, you don't care about what anybody's saying, what anybody's doing. But then here, you've got it's written with a semiquaver, la-da, which I think will project your sound more evocatively. If you're going, la-dee, which becomes romantic. Don't give away what's coming. The aria is coming now. Yeah. I wouldn't do that gesture. Any lyrical gesture I would avoid at all costs. So that when your legato starts in the second part of the aria, it's so unexpected and therefore so much more precious. Ta-dum, 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 ta-dum.
Di tutti l'inique trame io serno per te mia vita.
Even there, te mia vita. That's a semiquaver too. Per te, right on it.
Per te mia vita. Per te mia vita.
Great, because you've got to appear the hero, right? Remember, you'd be a little bit older, wouldn't you? And the tenor would be younger. So you've got to stand up for your masculinity here. So you've got to be like a young firebrand here, okay? Very good how you did the mia vita, changing the D flat to the D natural. Do it again. Per te.
Per te mia vita.
No, too short.
Papa?
No. Too short, the long note is too short.
Sorry.
You can't take away the voice. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah. Per te mia vita. Per te mia vita.
Now this.
Affronterei l'Averno
sorry.
Well,
And she-
lover. Yeah, that has that to me has a greater strength that prepares us now for a surprise somehow. Okay?
I quite like that because there is a fact before that he is on the garden. And he said, well, it's not my prize because they won the war. But it's not for him. It's because this young tenor. So it's wonderful that in this recit, we found that kind of, I am also an hero. And I will tell her.
Yes, but you have to be the hero
Yeah.
here. Otherwise, he wins anyway. Okay, he's the tenor. Yeah? Okay, let's go on. Now, actually, I don't need to hear the beginning of the legato. I was totally convinced by your beautiful, beautiful legato. Gorgeous. What I would like to do, though, are the in-between sections where the orchestra stops just for a split second, and you all of a sudden have, just for a minute, that relationship with the audience. I've talked about this before, where there's no orchestra, and therefore it's on you to communicate in a very, very individual. Don't be afraid to be very individual. What I'm talking about is mai del don si pentirà. Long, fermata. There's a hold on that note. And then here, no mai del dono. You will never repent from from loving me. You will never regret it. I will give you the throne. I will give you the crown. You will never. You will have everything. Okay. So go from se ad amare, from there. Ah. Here's the moment.
No mai del don si pentirà.
Yeah, so in other words, that's very good, and you use the silence. But behind that phrase, you will not regret loving me, means, again, the insecurity of your character. So that little bit of fragility, okay? Especially with this musical context. Yeah? Just do, mai del don si pentirà.
Mai del don si pentirà. No, mai del don si pentirà.
Lovely. Now you. Now, I want to talk about, you do that well, you have the right kind of shaping of it. But you're scooping a little bit into the high note. And I'm afraid to tell you that you don't quite make it. You're spending so much time, and then you don't quite get the note itself. You're just slightly under. Okay? So think about it. Scooping, that's a terrible way of saying gliding into the note from underneath. It feels good vocally, I'm sure, and it's not unmusical. But you've got to be careful when it starts to interrupt the technical finish. Then you know you're overdoing it, and that's why I'm here to tell you. Okay, so go che per soglio. The crown, the throne. You're going, you're already starting to do it too much there. Those notes are beginning notes, so that they're notes that need to be part of something. Not, that's an event. Okay? One more time. Sure that I would take that breath before there. Take it earlier, because right before the word beauty, you want it to be the culmination of something. So, sneak it there. Do again, you do that so beautifully. The E flat. You do that so beautifully, then the E natural needs. Yeah, because it's the different one. So go from che per soglio. Beautiful before the cadenza, wonderful.
Che per soglio e per corona riman la tua beltà. Se amare il re tu vuoi, se amare il re tu vuoi, mai delle donne si pentiranno, mai delle donne.
It's not yet the cadenza. Don't go out for coffee here. It's not yet the moment where your relationship with the orchestra, with the audience is private. The orchestra's still playing. Okay? Come on. Se amare il re tu puoi,
mai delle donne si pentiranno, mai delle donne, no, mai delle donne si pentiranno.
And here it is. Now.
Se per sogno e per corona
the scoop worked beautifully. Long. Great. We're wonderful. Wonderful. Now, in the there's a little bridge passage, and it says dolce. Ah, mio Leonora. You kind of, okay. Then the next phrase has a crescendo and a legato. Please come to me. De means please. You can really warm that up because of the legato. Come on. Dolce, sweetly.
Ah, mia Leonora.
You can curve that phrase better. Leonora. Caress that with a little portamento, bringing the voice, gliding the voice down. Come on.
Ah, mia Leonora.
Gorgeous, fabulous.
Vieni a me.
And bum. Now don't take too many breaths in this. I'll help you.
De nemici tuoi lo sdegno di sfidare saprò per te, se ti cesse l'alma il regno io farei gli altri ancora sonre. Dammi di compagno, io voglio farti bella innanzi al cielo, al mio fianco unita in soglia, al mio fianco nella pelle. Sì mio ben, miei di compagno, voglio farti bella innanzi al cielo, miei di compagno.
Here now. So you've been singing at full throttle, right? Basically. Now, the orchestra plays, you sing. The orchestra plays, you sing here. So you're not fighting against the orchestra. Get to a different vocalization. Ah, dei miei di, compagno voglio farti bel. In front of the heavens, I want to make you my companion. Speak almost. Save a little bit of vocal capital here, okay? Dig-a-dum-dum-dum.
Fatemi di, compagno voglio farti bello innanzi al cielo, farti bella innanzi al cielo, innanzi al cielo.
Use the legato moments, but as if they're born out of the voice, because this is going to then give you then strength to hammer those last notes at the end. Okay, that was maybe an inappropriate use. A hammer, you never hammer on your voice, but the idea is that the emotion, this manliness that we talked about, is so strong here. So, bella innanzi al ciel,
Farti bella innanzi al cielo, innanzi al cielo, o mia compagna voglio farti innanzi al cielo.
Good. Now, air vowel on that high note is not the easiest thing in the world, because you've got to be nice and round, but that's a contradiction in terms when it comes to an air vowel, because the air is naturally this way. So you make it slimmer, closer to an E vowel. It's what you do on the top for the mechanics of the throat in the bel canto school. And you're doing that all correctly. But because of the scoop, you're not quite getting there again. The scoop here is impeding either directly or but make sure you've got the clarity of the pitch. Okay? Do it, because this is important. Play from there, just.
Sorry, it's al cielo direct, no?
Yeah, whatever. To join the phrase.
Yeah.
One. Yeah. And use the double N. You go innanzi, innanzi. That's very important. Why? Because when you're singing loudly, anything that gives you resonance, the double N's give you resonance, and that's hugely important. Come on. You're already there. Go. Better, yeah?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, terrific.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that double N, already I could hear, when you did that double N, I could hear the next two notes had a ring to them that is the gateway to the top. Okay? But very good. They're terrific, musically wonderful. So let's completely change now. Let's go to the verismo repertoire, and if we're going to I Pagliacci by Ruggero Leoncavallo, one of the great examples of verismo operatic music. And here, no longer a king. You are just a young lad from a village who happens to be in love with Nedda. But Nedda is married to Canio. Canio is the leader of a traveling troupe, and he's much older than she is. And she's having an affair with you in one of these villages. And you're going to sing a part of a very steamy duet, if I may say so, where you're trying to convince her to just run away with you, basically. And of course, it's very difficult for her. This opera, the emotions now, I mean, the music now is full-blown romantic, and the emotions are perhaps less subtle, more, well, of simple people. That's the whole point of verismo, is that what happens to rustic people, to people of the villages, to ordinary people. And often very violent, very sensual, brutal and very direct, and fantastic theater. Yeah? So you're going to sing, you're saying to Nedda, you're saying to Nedda, so you want to live in this terrible life that you're living in this, with all these worries, where you've got your older husband and you've got the other guy, Tonio, who's trying to hit on you all the time. I mean, her life is, you know, not great. And then you say to her, decide my destiny, right? Nedda, please stay with me. Tu il sai la fe. The feast will be over and everybody's going to leave tomorrow. What will happen to me if you leave? Che addiverrà di me? And you say, respond to me, Nedda, that Canio, you've never loved him, your husband. And how can you then go around doing this gypsy life? If this is the story, if you love me so, then run away with me, basically. Now this aria, it's really part of a duet, as I said, so we're going to be skipping ahead to a part. E allor perché di tu m'hai stregato, se vuoi. How can it be that you've bewitched me completely and that you're going to leave? So, and leave me without pity. The kisses, voluptuous, sensual kisses we had. The time we've had together, these stolen moments, ardent spasms. He talks of fever. It gets completely out of control. Again, trying to convince her to go away with you. Okay? So, here we go.
E fra quest'ansie in eterno vivrai, netta, netta. Decidi il mio destin, netta, netta rimani, tu il sai la festa fine, e parteniam domani. Sarai partita, che avverrà di me, della mia vita. Netta, netta, rispondi, non mami, più non mami. E parti domattina. Perché di tu m'hai stregato, se vuoi lasciarmi senza pietà, quel bacio tuo perché me l'hai dato, fra spasmi ardenti di se tu scordasti l'ore fugace, io non lo posso e voglio ancora quei spasmi ardenti, quei caldi baci che dall'età febbre non me so
Great. Okay. So you hear how much more involved the orchestra is. The piano part is like a rhapsody. And of course, this is meant to support the drama and support the singer. But of course, it creates a layer, a greater and thicker layer upon which the singer has to project over. And that's one of the challenges of this. Let's look at this step by step. So, I mean, we're entering the excerpt sort of not midway, but at the beginning of your entrance, right? And when she explains to you how Tonio tried to not only pick her up, but he's really inappropriate, and she beat him with her whip. So the first phrase, how can you live with all this agitation? Remember, it's verismo. So you don't think about the voice so much as the declamation of it. And with all this agitation, you want to live forever in this? In eterno vivrai, ne da ne. There's your vocal moment. Okay? It wasn't clear to me as much as I thought it perhaps should be. Can you try that?
Yeah.
Don't fall into the trap of the beauty of the music. David is playing the romantic theme that is like the leitmotif or the musical visiting card, if you like, of your relationship, Nedda and you, Silvio. That's there. That's creating the band. But when you start singing, you don't start singing a love song. You're singing about, what are you doing here? Why are you staying in this? And that's exactly the nature it needs to have, okay?
E fra quest'ansie in eterno vivrai, netta,
It's much more convincing. One thing I would say to you is be careful not to chop notes too short. Like, for instance, e fra quest'ansie, ansie, in eterno, just that. But really very, very good otherwise. Okay, do it one more time. David, play it a little bit more lovingly so it challenges him at the beginning. Amoroso, yeah?
e fra quest'ansie.
Yeah, now you've got the high note coming, right? So I love the I love this frustration, but you're a little bit too loud, I think, because you're slightly sharp.
Yeah.
I love the speed of it, but okay? Use the word ansia, these worries. Fra quest'ansia. Use the N, ansia. You'll get resonance and you'll get meaning. Come on.
E fra quest'ansie.
Not ansia. Yes, through the vowel. The vowel is what the audience hears. Okay, come on.
E fra quest'ansie.
Yes.
In eterno vivrai.
Good. High notes, you've nailed them more than once. That's great. Now, so the orchestra, you take her by the hand and now you want to tell your story. Now, it says, cantabile con garbo. Garbo, a certain degree of elegance. A better way of saying it is savoir-faire. Okay?
This is a question
Yes.
about that, about the savoir-faire. Is him a kind of, in a way, a kind of Don Giovanni moment where he's saying Lecce la mano or something like that?
No, I think he's totally bewitched by this girl. And he's saying, decide my fate. Come on.
So it's true, it's not only...
Oh, no. I think it's true. It's real. Now, your Italian here, I mean, you've shown a wonderful mastery of legato, except in this very first phrase. And I'm not sure why. Your Italian didn't help. You're going decidi. Now, granted, very difficult to sing legato because of the ch sound, which cuts. But you've got to go against that. And there's a little, which is a little, it's almost like a frisson, a little inner tremor, if you like. We call it acciaccatura. It bites. But it shouldn't bite too much. It's almost like like I said, a frisson. When you sang it the first time, you kind of belted that. And of course, this phrase is an arch. Look at the way it looks on the page. It brings you up to the top note. Nedda, and then tenderly, nedda rimani, nedda stay. Okay? Moment, so. Na. Say better. Yes, that's it. Hard, I know. Good. Now let's address your scooping. Decidi il mio destin, is what you're doing. And of course, then it makes it a little bit more difficult. I'm not saying that it's wrong. It's too much. You're investing everything into the D flat, when it's the F that we want to hear. And we want to hear that clearly and beautifully. Okay? Do it again. Na. Make the first note, the vowel longer. It has a yeah, and you'll be surprised how gentle the ch can be. One more time. Singing a wrong note. Stuff. Yeah, and these low notes are essential. Now, I love the beginning now. I think it can have some more repose. You don't have to do anything. There's a lot of stuff coming up where you can go, but here, it's just the two people. Do it again. You've got to include the acciaccatura, this little da in the phrase, because do, 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 da-da, sounds like a karate chop. Gorgeous. So that funny phrase with the low note, you're saying, again, remember to communicate what the meaning of it is. The first part is extremely sensual, but now, tu sai la fête, you know that the celebrations, the feast, is going to end, right? So it's a real thing. It's not a poetic thing. Tu sai la festa fin, and everybody's leaving tomorrow. So make it more natural. Don't worry. You're doing line and you're doing legato and beautiful singing, but communicate what you're actually saying too. So neda, you know. Yes. Yes, you see, the orchestra prepares that for you. Yeah, another scoop that didn't work. Yeah, but yeah, again, it probably feels really good, but you didn't quite. Okay, do it again. Wonderful how you shaped before. Terrific. So you've done the two neddas, which say sussurrato, whispered. Perfect. Go from e quando tu now with fire, con fuoco. E quando tu di cui sarai partita, che arriverà di me. Good. I didn't see the thought until you did the special note. The thought was, what will become of me? Didn't see it. Yeah. Okay? E quando tu, terrific now. E quando tu di cui sarai partita, che arriverà di me. That scoop worked beautifully. Of my life, what will happen to me? There's a moment of reflection. Oh, Silvio, she says, Silvio, what am I to do? And you tell her. Now, these arching phrases, which are doing very well, but your breaths are tending to chop them. Use the breaths as just what they are, a breath to get back energy, but not to break a phrase, because nedda, rispondimi, se ver, tell me if that Canio you never loved. Okay? Make that thought. Use the double consonants to your advantage. Nedda, neddaris, nedda. You see, you can make the vowel sail out and use the double D. Right on it. And. Netta, netta, rispondimi, se vede che Canio non amasti mai. Yeah, don't get too flim-flammy there, because otherwise you give away what's coming. Yeah. You're talking about her husband. You don't like her husband. Yeah. Again, terrific doubles. Netta, netta, rispondimi, se vede che Canio non amasti mai. Here's the change. Se vero che te in odio il ramingare m'est. You're saying about, don't tell me the truth. You hate this gypsy life. Odio, ramingar. So, tell me the truth. It's intimate, but it's frustrating at the same time. Come on.
Se vero che te innodio il ramingare mestier che tu fai.
Now you take a breath. Good, double M. Get your support now. Again, another scoop that almost was there.
Moderate, yeah.
Right there.
Sorry. Ah, c'est l'immenso.
It was better before. The M's and the N's. This adds to the sensuality of the music. Come on. Keep going. Yeah, don't be late there. Yeah, the style is ti-ta, not da, ta, but ti-ta. Exactly. Go ahead. Now, you don't love me. This I don't need. I want the e allor perché. If you want to leave me, why have you bewitched me so? There are key words, opera words that I think you can do. Stregato is one of them. In the line, but stregato. Se vuoi lasciarmi senza pietà, pietà. Yes. But beautiful color, really gorgeous, fantastic. It says voluptuously and mezza voce. You're doing exactly that. Great. Voluttà, double T. Yes, you didn't do that the first time. Now, go. Each one. Yeah, terrific. That's a hard G. Very good. And you did it with enthusiasm. Be careful again, the fugaci. Se scorderasti l'ore fugaci. Very gentle C. You want to be legato there because if you're too like this, then the end you've given away and you won't have the strength to do it. Okay? But really, really terrific. And you have a wonderful sense of color, legato. Just watch, basically, watch the scooping. The scooping, use it to your advantage, but just be careful that it's not taking the light out of the notes. Because you go, bing, don't be afraid to get the note clean. Yeah, but terrific, Germán, bravo.
Thank you so much.
And David, thank you very much, bravo.
Thank you, David.